Summer Game Fest is tomorrow, and I want to go over my final predictions and expectations of this event. We've gone through several of these Summer Game Fests from Jeff Keighley, and one thing to always kind of remember is they tend to have the really big moments, and they tend to be kind of average after that. I don't know if it's controversial to say, but it is my opinion that the Summer Game Fest tends to be the weakest of any Jeff Keighley show. Remember, he does this, he does Gamescom, and he does the Game Awards. I always find Summer Game Fest to be the most imbalanced and also just the worst throughout the entire thing. With that being said, there are still some potential for some really big games. He's been saying, games are going to appear. I want to talk about the games we know are going to be there, but also maybe some far out predictions in this video. Really fast, I do just want to say for those that didn't know, so tomorrow I'll be co-streaming the event. I like to go live about an hour and a half before the show goes live. So if you want to join me, we'll watch it together. We always have a blast. Even if the show isn't that good, we always tend to have fun on the channel. So I hope to see you guys there. So again, I think there's going to be a lot of fluff to this show, and that comes with the expectation, part of this video. I love games, and I'll take as many games as humanly possible, okay? So at the end of the day, I think a lot of people realize, these shows, every single announcement is not going to be for one person, right? So me as a gamer, I'm not going to be into probably 50, 55, 60 announcements that he makes. I may be, myself personally, I may be into like 30, but I do think I'm like an oddity. I don't think that's how everybody views these things. But that's just something to kind of keep in mind that, when you got like the Fortnites of the world going, when you have Call of Duty, Warzone going, I could honestly care less. But at the same time, there's going to be things that I'm interested in that other people don't care about, right? So again, we do have some confirmation. We have games like Immortals of Avium, which is that EA game that comes out in July. That'll be there. Crash, although it's not like officially confirmed, Jeff showed the picture that indicates, Crash Team Rumble is going to be there, so you could probably expect a trailer. The two big ones, at least as of right now, the two big confirmed ones is Mortal Kombat gameplay and Alan Wake 2 gameplay. Those are the giants. I think there'll be a few more on top of it, but as of right now, that's what we get, and that's fantastic. I think those two games may be able on their own to carry the show, but I do think a game like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we've talked a lot about that on the channel, I do think that's going to be there. All the signs indicate we're getting a trailer, maybe the release date, but definitely I would say a trailer. I'm 50-50 on the Persona stuff. We've talked about that as well in past videos. I think we're going to get an announcement for Persona 3 and the spin-off game for 5. It's either going to be here or it's going to be at the Xbox event. So if it's not on Thursday, then you just have to wait till Sunday, I think, to get it. But like I said, there's always a few kind of random ones thrown in that either people aren't expecting or just big ones, obviously, to make the show. I think Elden Ring's DLC could be one of those. Elden Ring is a gigantic game. I think Jeff views it as a really big thing. I believe Jeff was the one to kind of reconfirm or reintroduce Elden Ring into the world several years back. So I do think that would be a huge get for him, and I think that's something that he would actively want to get for the show. So I would not be surprised at all if, I would go so far as to say this, that Elden Ring's DLC ends the show. If he actually ends the show with the DLC, I honestly believe that's very, very possible. He's done things with Dragon Age before, and I'm thinking something EA, right? Because, you already have Immortals of Avium, so that is an EA game. You can think of Dragon Age, you can think of Skate, right? So those are two possibilities, neither of which come out in roughly the next year, so they're probably like second half of next year games, but I do think that's something that could appear. Jeff has shown Dragon Age, I believe, 3 or 4 times across Game Awards, Summer Game Fest, and Gamescom over the past couple of years. He just always shows that game, so I wouldn't rule it out. At the same time, I'm kind of expecting it more towards like the Game Awards. Again, for me personally, I'll take Alan Wake 2. I'll take Mortal Kombat. I do think Elden Ring. I think Harry Potter Quidditch Champions is also almost a lock to be shown there. And I think Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. If we just got those 5, I do think we would get way more than just those 5. I would be pretty fine with it. Again, there's going to be 40, 50 plus announcements. It's a 2-hour show. There's going to be a lot of stuff that I don't care about. The one thing I'm looking for personally is enough of the CG stuff. And even like Xbox had taken some shots at Sony for that as well. But it is, I think, a real thing. I don't know why Sony thought that was a good idea. It's been a vocal talking point in the industry for quite a while. And Jeff has talked about it. Jeff Keighley has said in the past, when he looks for games to appear at his show, he doesn't just want a CG trailer. trailer. He wants at least some of it to be some sort of gameplay. And I agree with him, because ultimately you can do whatever you want with CG, but the game could be 5 years out, 6 years out, and the end product may have nothing to do, with what we originally saw. I know I mentioned this in a video yesterday. I think games like Transformers Reactivate could get an update at this show. In fact, it was shown off at the Game Awards. Killer Clowns from Outer Space also definitely needs an update, and that game was last shown at Gamescom. Again, another Jeff Keighley. So I'm trying to look at like games that have appeared already at his shows that would just kind of reappear. But of course, there's always the possibility of games that we have never seen. Would we get a brand new announcement or two? I don't know if this is the place for it, just because, again, you had PlayStation's event, which did announce several brand new games. It just showed a lot of them in CG, but they did announce brand new things. You have the Xbox show on Sunday. You expect a lot of updates on games there, but then also probably a few brand new, announcements. So for Jeff to kind of come sandwiched in between them, and even Ubisoft show, which that's where probably that Star Wars game will be shown, right? It's hard, I think, for him to announce brand new things. Even like Elden Ring's DLC, we know that it's real. We just haven't seen it yet, right? So I think it's going to be a lot of updates on pre-existing, right, and things that we already know, which I think is fine, because ultimately you got half a year left. You got a lot of games coming out in the second half of the year. Some of them don't have release dates, so please, for the love of God, start to nail down the release dates, and then to start to show things. Again, like, you look at Mortal Kombat, you look at Alan Wake. Assassin's Creed also, I think, will get a huge showing, but that I think will be at the Ubisoft show. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm sure there's things I'm forgetting. I'm sure there's things that I'm leaving out, maybe even on purpose, but that's kind of the frame that I'm expecting this show to do. A lot of things that we've already seen before, but updates on them, which I think is fine. Maybe one or two brand new things, and that's about it, right? And again, I got to keep expectations, I do believe, in check. For as excited as I am, and I really am excited, and I can't wait to watch it, live with you guys, this show, specifically Summer Game Fest, has always been truly the weakest. Doesn't mean it's like awful or terrible. You got the ad component that people don't like, including myself, but there are things bad about it. But overall, I don't think they're terrible shows, but I do think they are absolutely the worst of the three. I think Gamescom is normally way more consistent, which is actually kind of shocking, because I don't think Gamescom used to be like that. And then the Game Awards, normally it's kind of all over the place, but it does have like the biggest things you can imagine, at least a couple of them, and Summer Game Fest normally doesn't. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on. Tune in tomorrow. We'll watch the show together, and I hope to see you all there.